While the elves enjoyed the golden years of the long peace in the far and unknown east, another branch of the children of Iluvatar, men, were undertaking a long and arduous migration to the west. They did not possess the innate wisdom and craft of the elves, nor did they have eternal life to accumulate experience. Their lives were as brief as a moth's flight, a fleeting glimmer in the grand tapestry of Arda's history. Yet a fire burned in their hearts that the elves did not possess, a longing to transcend their own fate. They followed an ancient legend, a tale that in the west of the world lay a land of eternal light and immortal beings, their only hope of escaping the shadow of death. This great migration spanned countless generations. In the year 262 of the First Age, a child named Beer was born among the migrating tribes. He grew up under the open sky and the stars, listening to the elders' tales of the West, and the longing took deep root in his heart. Then came Marok 282, Baron 289, Belen 292, Melok 307. These names, which would later become the patriarchs of the three houses of the Edain, shone like stars in the dawn of this young race. Their lives were born, grew, and faded on the long road of migration, passing the torch of hope from one generation to the next. At last, in the year 310, a historic moment arrived. The tribe led by the aged and wise Beer became the first of men to cross the cloud-piercing Blue Mountains and set foot in the fabled land of Beleriand. As they descended from the rugged mountain paths and for the first time saw the vast forests and plains stretching out under the soft starlight and hazy moon, they were all stunned by the beauty before them. The air was fresh, the streams murmured, a world apart from the windswept wilderness they had left behind. They made a temporary camp in Osiriand, the green land known as the Land of Seven Rivers. One night, as the members of the human tribe lay in deep sleep, a melodious music awoke them from their dreams. They emerged from their tents to see, in a clearing in the woods, a tall figure sitting by a campfire, holding a harp and singing softly. He had golden hair and his eyes shone with a star-like wisdom. His song held a beauty and sorrow they had never heard before. He was Finrod Felagund, king of Nargothrond. He had been hunting alone in Osiriand and had chanced upon these strange newcomers. Finrod did not reveal his royal majesty. Instead, he quietly entered their camp, took up an abandoned harp, and in their own tongue, sang of the beginning of the world and the light of the two trees. The men were utterly enchanted by this divine music. They sat silently around him, gazing in awe at this being who seemed to have stepped out of a legend. This was the first meeting between elves and men, filled with peace and wonder. Finrod saw in their eyes a thirst for knowledge and a love for life, and he grew to love these second-born children of Iluvatar. However, the green elves of Osiriand were wary of these newcomers. They did not want these mortal beings who felled trees and hunted beasts to disturb the peace of their beloved forests. At their request, Finrod persuaded Beer to lead his people and settle on a plain to the east called Estelad, the encampment. It was also in this year that Imlak, grandson of Beer, was born in the land of Beleriand, the first of men to be born in that elven land. In the year 311, the aged Beer made a decision that changed his life. He passed the leadership of his people to his son Baron and chose to follow Finrod to the fabled subterranean kingdom of Nargothrond. He yearned to learn the wisdom of the elves and understand the secrets of the world. Finrod welcomed him, and Beer spent the last years of his life in Nargothrond, becoming the Elf King's most loyal servant and dearest friend, until he died of old age. His passing was the first time the elves had directly confronted the short and mortal fate of men, and a deep compassion arose in their hearts. After the House of Beer, other tribes of men arrived. In the year 312, a tribe of the Haladin crossed the mountains. They were a taciturn people who cherished their independence and freedom, unwilling to be bound by any lord. They settled in the forest of Thargelion in East Beleriand, near the lands of Caranther, son of Fëanor, and the two peoples kept a wary distance from each other. A year later, in 313, the largest tribe of men, led by Melok, also entered Beleriand. They were the ancestors of the later House of Hadar, a tall, golden-haired and blue-eyed people who loved battle and honor. They were distantly related to the House of Beer and also settled in the plain of Estelad, where they soon formed a deep friendship with Finrod's younger brothers, Ongrad and Agnor. With the arrival of men, new life was also born in the land of Beleriand. In the year 315, Haldad, the future leader of the House of Haladin, was born. He would lead his people through their darkest days. In the same year, Boron, son of Baron, was born into the House of Beer. The cries of these newborns brought an unprecedented mortal vitality and hope to this ancient elven land. However, these newcomers did not know that the land of light they had sought was also under a great shadow. They had fled from an unknown darkness in the east only to plunge headlong into the deeper and more tangible evil of Morgoth. Morgoth soon learned of the arrival of men, and his heart was filled with malicious joy. He saw these newcomers, ignorant of the world, as tools that could be easily corrupted and enslaved. He sent spies and dark phantoms to infiltrate their camps, sowing seeds of lies and fear in their dreams. He told them that the elves were but jealous wardens, holding men captive in Estelad to prevent them from attaining true power and immortality. He twisted the nature of death, portraying it as a curse laid upon men by the elves. In the hearts of some men, seeds of doubt and discontent began to sprout. They started to question the goodwill of the elves and even secretly yearned for the untamed, unrestrained life of the East. But most of the men, especially their leaders like Baron of the House of Beer and Malak of the House of Malak, had witnessed the wisdom and nobility of the elves and staunchly resisted these lies. They swore fealty to the elven lords, willing to fight to defend the land that had welcomed them. And so, on the plains of Estelad, the young men began to learn the arts of war from the elves. They learned to use the longbow to forge bright swords and to form ranks on the battlefield. The elves were surprised to find that these short-lived mortals had an astonishing talent for warfare, and their courage and resolve were no less than that of the proudest Noldren warriors. Thus, in the twilight of the long peace, a fragile but hopeful alliance was formed between the two disparate races of elves and men. Men brought to the elves their passion for life and their fearless courage, while the elves gave men their ancient wisdom and the strength to resist the darkness. However, in the evil fortress shrouded in smoke in the north, the dark enemy watched all this with cold eyes. He saw the potential of this alliance, and he also saw the cracks within it. He was waiting patiently for the moment when he could crush all this new hope, along with the seemingly unbreakable peace, in a single blow. The wheels of fate had begun to turn, and men, this young race newly arrived on the stage of history, did not yet know what a terrible price they would have to pay for their choices.